my pastShut podcast. This is episode 17. As always, I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey.
And my best friend, Jake.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Real quick, Hannah said before we got started she wanted an iPhone X with a big one. Why did it just cut like that?
It always does.
Does it?
Yeah, I didn't do the fade. I do that after.
Are you going to leave it like that?
No, I do. I changed it after. I changed it.
Now he has to
Well, I
leave it
figure
like
since
that
we
'cause you
addressed
made a
the
big
weird
deal
cut,
about it.
you need to just leave it.
Okay, I'll leave it. So, I don't know.
Because if you leave it with a fade, people are going to wonder.
Yeah.
People are going to think you're stupid.
I do this every week.
I've never heard it cut.
Well, man, I don't remember.
I have. I always notice it.
I adjust it after we're done recording. We just have it there for the sake of we know when the build happens.
Oh, good cut.
Yeah, great cut. This is episode 17 of the podcast.
What is an iPhone X with a big one?
Next week will be legal.
Technically, it's actually episode like 22.
Who cares? It's normal episode.
Yeah, it is our weekly recap. Did you guys think this was going to go this long?
I guess nobody's going to answer my question.
I have the iPhone 8 Plus that I got this.
If anybody needs a new phone, it's me. I've charged 2 or 3 times a day, and I have a 6S Plus.
Okay,
That's
well,
pretty terrible.
Yeah.
We're not talking about you right now. This time last year, I got the new iPhone 8 Plus.
Yeah.
And I really like it. But
That's what I have.
it was the same time that the iPhone X came out, and I was like, the whole thing is I want a bigger phone. Mm-hmm. I want more mass. And
You know what her favorite video game is?
Mass Effect.
There it is.
okay,
Yeah.
it took you a minute. But then Apple just released the iPhone X Max. It's the size of the Plus, but it's all screen.
And it's
And I want
themed
it.
like the Max from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, and so I want it.
We can talk about phones.
Another
Well,
time.
I need you.
Yeah.
I need you to make a little more money so you can get me a new phone.
Okay. Well, if anything, I'm salaried, and you are the one that has the option to go up or down. But
Yep.
we just wanted to say up top, because we haven't said it on the show, after we released last week's episode,
Tell the people what they want to hear.
I don't know if they want to hear it, but it's exciting for us. We crossed 20,000 downloads.
That's right.
Which is insane to us.
Tell me why I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I thought you were going to talk about something else.
I don't know why you thought that.
What's crazy is that going back, because I'm compiling, we're going to do a cool little podcast of just compiling some of the best moments from this season. And,
What are those moments?
well,
We don't give it away.
No, we're a no spoiler podcast. And so we made such a big deal at the beginning, right, after episode 0 dropped.
We had
over
60.
65.
Okay, yeah.
To be exact. 65 downloads. And that to us, even at that time, was
'Cause
monumental.
We expected like 15 at most.
And here we are,
20,000.
over 20,000.
Almost at 21 as we sit right now.
And that doesn't happen without the support from the Smashing Heads community. I mean, that's what they are, right?
Yeah, I
They're a
can't-
part of the family.
I can't believe anybody wants to sit and listen to us,
They do. And
especially Jake.
we appreciate it. And it, again, we didn't expect to hit these types of numbers this quick at all. And so it's awesome. We used to talk about it. Well, okay, we just crossed 3,000, 5,000, whatever. 20,000. That's a big number.
And
so,
Shane hated us for it.
he probably still does.
But he'll be back.
Yeah, well,
I think he's having a hard time.
Sad
tonight,
episode for him tonight.
So
You know what?
I mean, we're gonna lay off
Let's just have him
because
on
we like him.
to talk about life. Not one word about the challenge.
okay.
Is that okay?
That was half of the.
Yeah, we talked about that a
interview
lot.
last
Yeah.
time we talked to him.
Well, then we can do it again.
Real quick, we did an Instagram live tonight just because we passed 20,000 downloads. We may try to do some more of those because they are fun to do for us. The more interaction we get with you guys, the better.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it's fun for us. And for you guys' sake, we skipped the Grizzlies game tonight. I mean,
And we're
That's a
still
big
skipping
deal.
it.
I know we got our priorities in line. We got to get this done. So
But when you get a job there and we have to be in attendance for all the home games, I don't know how that's going to work out.
we'll have to see what happens.
Are we getting a job there or just you?
Just him.
Are we going to be part of Grind City Media?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No.
We can just walk in whenever we want, start whenever we want.
It's a Smashing Heads podcast with Grind City Media, right?
Yeah, I don't know if Memphis has a big enough challenge base. I mean, we know Mikey.
Mikey's there.
Yeah.
That may be enough for us.
He'd have to do some like grassroots campaigning for us. But anyway, we appreciate everyone joining us tonight. Appreciate everyone that's downloaded and listened so far. I just want to give a quick shout out to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Because it's
Lets you
it's
punch
so
your
good.
horse.
It's so good. I don't punch my horse, but it
lets you.
It's so good. Me and Jake were talking earlier.
Jake and I.
And you know, we thought about if any of our listeners, you know, I still have an Xbox One, but we both have PlayStation 4s right now.
That's right.
If anybody wants to just come on and play Rocket League or something with us, let us know, and we'll give you our PSN names, and we can.
I'm not invited.
Well, she doesn't play anything. She did talk about getting the new Spyro game though, the remaster when it comes out.
You need to get the new.
I literally grew up playing that. That was my first video game ever on my old PlayStation 1.
Did you play the Crash Bandicoot games?
Yeah.
All right.
It was so much fun.
Okay, so I got the.
That's how you pronounce it, Crash Bandicoot.
That's right. For once, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You can't always be right.
He's wrong about so much in the English language.
All right, so I'm gonna bring that over.
It's
next
hard
time
though,
here.
right?
It is.
Yeah.
I said so many bad words playing
Jake,
that game. I did.
From what
well,
I've
you're not going to play it in my house.
From what I've read,
Well-
it's really unforgiving.
It is
Yeah.
unbearable how difficult that game is at times, especially the first one. Because, like, by the second one, they added, like, this spin move and a couple other things you could do. I think even a double jump, which just made you be able to maneuver a little easier. Because right now, all you can do is really just
Flip.
jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, no, it is ungodly kinds of
And the
difficult.
camera's awkward sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks good, though.
Yeah. The Spyro game seems pretty cool. We'll see about that.
Speaking of Red Dead, was that you that drew the wiener in the snow?
No, that was off Reddit.
Was it?
I sent it to you guys.
I was like, why are you drawing wieners in the snow?
It's just like the game is like so like detailed that like everywhere
You can do that.
everywhere you walk, it acts like you've actually walked there. It's not just like a texture. And so you literally, if you want, you can do that in the snow.
When it snows here, are you going to try to
Yeah.
do that in real life?
Yeah.
It's not going to snow for another 6 months.
I'm gonna get on my. Yeah, it's 81 degrees today in Tennessee, which is insane.
We're in Tennessee. It doesn't snow until March.
Yeah, it is pretty stupid.
It's a wonder we're not sick.
I was sick last week when we recorded.
I'm not getting sick this year.
I hope not. So
Well, if you do, we know we'll have a whale of a podcast.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, because
last time she was sick.
I was.
Oh yeah.
I was
that's
hyped up
right.
on.
I
my meds.
wasn't like that. I just had like some congestion and cold and stuff. So
What
You
was-
said Josh was women's gift to the earth.
was I on my migraine pill?
no,
Uh,
you're just.
It was-
Nausine. She was on Nausine. That's what you said, at least.
What is nausine? I've never said that word in my life.
What's it
Nausine?
called? Flonase.
Flonase.
You know that old nausine.
Yeah,
Is that not a thing?
it may be, but I've never said it.
Look it up.
Yeah, that Nausine's a thing. It's for nausea.
I
Flonase.
feel like you're making it up now.
No, it's real.
Uh,
Paul will confirm it.
yeah.
That's not challenge related.
He did email us tonight, and he follows us on Twitter, but we mostly communicate with him
I
through,
don't disparage
through
Paul's
emails.
emails.
I'm not. It's just funny. Like usually his emails are like really detailed, long, and then he just emailed us, and the subject was like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. He's like, never heard that before, and I just emailed him back, and I was like, it's a Southern saying.
It is. That's something I heard it several times growing up.
Yeah, never heard it.
I've heard it.
Never heard that.
Well, that's your fault.
I've heard something about a freight train in a storm shed, but
What's that one?
never long-tailed cats in a dorm room.
I'd heard-
Yeah.
In a dorm room.
Long-tailed
cats in a dorm room.
You said long-haired cats, I think. Long-haired cats in a dorm room.
Where were they?
Long-tailed cats in a room full of rocking chairs. Because like it would
Because
get,
when you're rocking the
Yeah.
chairs, it'll crush their tail.
and they don't like that.
It hurts them. It's a bone.
Have you ever had your cat around a rocking chair?
Yes. Yeah, because there's a rocking chair at my parents' house.
Yeah, actually,
It's next to the fridge.
last time we were at her parents' house, this is a real quick thing.
Forgot about
For
that.
some reason, her sister decided to charge her iPhone and place it underneath the back part of the rocking chair
in the floor.
And so her dad goes, and it's like tile floor. Her dad goes and sits in it and just leans back, and it just goes crunch, and it shattered her screen. And she was so mad. And he's like, "Why would you put this on the floor underneath the chair?"
He was mad.
Yeah, he was mad. And she was mad.
She came in because he crunched over it, and he's like, "Oh." And then he gets up and looks, and he's like, "Oh no, whose phone is this?"
Yeah.
And she comes in. She's like, "Why did you do that? Why would you crack my screen?" And he was like, "Why would you put it in the floor underneath a rocking chair?"
Yeah.
Did he start to like make a case out of it? Because he's like a secret agent.
Shh. You can't put that on the. You can't say that.
Can we not?
No. Okay.
He's not a secret agent.
Listen.
He's a
no
double
more.
agent.
You can't say
I know,
anymore. You
I
can't
know,
say
I know.
anything else.
He's not a secret agent.
When I was in the first grade, we had, bring your parent to work day, and they talk about your job. So a couple days before, everybody was talking about who they were bringing. My mom's a nurse. My dad's a lawyer. My dad's a firefighter. And I was telling all the kids in my class what my dad was because I was so excited. And then I went home, and my dad was super involved in my life, still is. And he was like, "So what'd you do at school today?" And I told him about how excited I was, bragging to everybody about what he did. And I got an hour-long lecture on why I am never to tell anyone what he does for a living.
To be fair, your parents are a little overly paranoid about things. You agree with that?
Yeah, but he has good reason to be.
Yeah,
He sees everything.
let's just say he works in a arm of law enforcement, and so
Be careful.
yeah.
Yeah, that you probably shouldn't even said that much.
He is a police horse, and
Police horse.
yeah, and so you don't want to give away his identity because people just think he's a regular horse when he's just out on the road. You ever see a big horse with a big mustache? that's
He does have a big mustache.
that's him.
I'm working on mine.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. So, have you watched Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Okay, Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
That's my dad, but a little bit younger and very fit.
Yeah, he's in way better shape.
But the same auburn hair, big, thick auburn mustache, loves meat,
Looks like a horse.
Right.
Yeah.
and hates the internet.
He likes.
His secret can get out on the internet. That's why.
Exactly.
Well, we told everyone already his secret. He's a police horse.
He has a fake Facebook account that he uses to find people.
Sheesh.
It works.
Have you ever seen the TV show Catfish?
Of course I have.
It's my dad.
Her dad's the
He's the catfish for everybody.
gray-haired guy.
People do some weird stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's a weird show.
I've never actually watched the show, but one time I saw a preview where it was this big girl, and she was getting
You
back.
whispered it so she didn't hear
She
you.
was getting back at her cousin, and so she catfished him because he called her fat.
God, dog.
So, do you remember? Nah, I don't want
It
to.
was her cousin.
I don't want
That's
to really
weird.
get into it. People did that in high school. Just do you remember a guy that we used to play shows with that his name started with a J?
Jake.
You'd know him. Not Jake.
Jake, it was you.
It's fine. Don't worry. I'll tell you later. They used to do that.
It's not your cousin Jake.
No. They would make they made a fake MySpace profile and basically just catfish someone really bad. And this was way before that was a thing. And yeah, I don't want to get into all that. Anyway,
Well, the last thing we wanted to touch on before we got into the events of tonight was the backlash from last week
that's true. I did write that down and I
with
forgot.
Johnny and Devin.
I will say it's not backlash specifically to us. We did get a little bit of that, but
Well, we caught it just because we're a part of the challenge community.
yes. I will say this last week is the most divisive I've seen Reddit, I've seen Twitter, I've seen the Facebook groups that we're in. People are so strong on one side or the other. Johnny was right, Devin was right. What Johnny said was fine because Devin caused it, vice versa. Like, again, we made our stance pretty clear. We don't expect everyone to agree with us. Like, it'd be dumb if everyone did agree with us because then we like the inner, like, not intercourse. That's almost what I said.
Good Lord.
You like that.
Where's your mind at?
We like the
I look really good today.
Hello. She said it.
He's
the
She said it, not you.
noticed.
We like the
He's off track.
intersection.
Your face is
We got him!
Jake, your face is red.
Yes!
We like the intersection of like where people don't agree with us and they want to talk about specific things we may have forgot to bring up or whatever.
What's that road called?
And
What
road?
you said the intersection of what we like to talk about.
This isn't important.
Jake, I don't know what you're trying to say.
And so I honestly muted all of the Facebook groups that I'm in that are challenge related because it was multiple posts over and over and over again about the same thing and hundreds of people commenting every time. Like, I guess it means two things to me. One, the show's doing well,
Right?
Because a
'Cause
lot
it's
of people are getting worked up about it.
Getting people to talk.
Two, we've made our opinions known, and we feel one way about it. We don't think you're dumb to feel the other way. It's just how we feel about it. So,
But at the same time, you can't deem other people stupid because they don't agree with you either.
So if we said we disagreed with what Johnny said,
which I still do.
It was uncalled for to bring up a deceased father that he was close to, and you said it was okay that Johnny said that, and we called you stupid. That's not okay.
The thing that I saw on Twitter that was not aired that actually led to, because we always talk about, right, there's a reason why people do the things they do.
And I talked to somebody about this too. I don't remember who.
It came out that the reason Devin kind of
went after him
is because Johnny referred to Nelson as being retarded.
Yes.
Correct. Now, I'll just say for someone like me,
You can't say that word.
you can't say that word.
Well, and even Jimmy and them came out and said he's called her that on other seasons and stuff like that. And going back to the island, that was every day somebody was.
Yes.
I mean, that's 10 years ago, but still, it doesn't surprise any of us that he said that. And that's what Devin got offended by.
Right. And
they were drunk too. That's other thing.
and like that's a thing, right? Like I have a family member that's special needs, and so like I in particular have, I don't know if you want to call it, I don't know that soft spot's the right way to put it. But like
you have more of an awareness.
That's it. So like
you're affected by it in a way.
Yeah, and having said that, the kid's a genius in his own right.
Yeah, in just a different way.
In a different way. And so like that was something, because like let's be honest, when we were teenagers, we used that word. Like when we would say like that's retarded or just referring to it.
Yeah, it didn't. To be fair, that was when we were teenagers. That was I'm 30 now, so 15 years ago it could have been.
Right. And so like being around it, being around a special needs person, having a family member that's that, I've developed you develop more of an understanding when you're around it, and you understand now why that word is not okay. And I've understood that for years. So like having said that, I understand why Devin came at him the way he did.
Who knows?
And let's be clear.
He may have a family member.
Right. Let's be clear. Like, people were trying to say that Devin was bullying Johnny. At no point did Devin call Johnny a name. Did he?
He followed him. He antagonized him 100%, but it's not anything Johnny didn't do in any other seasons, episodes, whatever. So we saw it tonight. He was trying to just get people to...
Right. So I want to be careful, because one of the silly things that happened, and again, like we've stated, like, we're okay if you disagree with us. We expect for people to disagree with us, but someone docked us a star on iTunes because they didn't agree with our take.
With that specific episode,
yeah.
Other than that, the review is actually really pretty nice. So, I mean, like, on stuff like that, like, we love ratings on iTunes, but just tweet to us or email us or something. Like, we're fine discussing it.
That, to clarify, if it's a disagreement you have with one particular thing we said in one particular episode, go ahead, send us a message or email us or tweet us or DM us. We want the iTunes reviews to be more of a general commentary.
Yeah, the show in as a whole. And
not one particular episode.
Yeah, so we
that's not unreasonable to
No,
ask,
and we had someone reach out to us on Instagram that was a newer follower from what I can tell. And she's more of an old school, grew up in that, and was just like, hey, I think you guys are wrong. Like, no disrespect, but I think...
Completely fine.
Yeah, I think Johnny was right. and doing what he said. Like, I don't agree with what he said, but I think he was within his rights. And I just, messaged her back or commented back and was like, hey, that's fine that you feel that way. Like, we personally don't. I was like, but here's why we feel that.
Right.
And then after that, she's like, I'm probably a little biased because I grew up watching Johnny and I don't really like these new people, which we did too. And she's like, now that I kind of think about it, he was kind of in the wrong. And we're not trying to like go out and like convert people to our side. We just want, that's, our opinions are our opinions. And that's
the kind of discussion people should be having in our nation.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, sorry, I hit your mic. Ultimately,
see, we bump into it all the time, Jake.
Ultimately, like, this is a TV show we watch. We can get silly and like debate specific things over it, but it's not that serious. Like, I saw people getting, to me, way too
like life or death.
What I feel is 100% right, and if you disagree with me, you're dumb and you're not a real fan and you're just a casual, or like all that type of stuff.
I see way too much of that not challenge related.
Well, we should just, like, again, this show should be fun and you should want as many people as possible to watch it, because then that means they're going to keep making more of them.
Yeah.
So, and I do think even if you don't like this season, even if you think some of the stuff was drug out at the beginning like we thought, clearly people are still engaged, and having a big divisive plot point like that, even though we kind of feel like it sucked for certain people, it brought out a lot more discussion than anything I can remember this season so far.
Yeah. So, anyway, just be nice to each other. Communication's good.
Yeah. So,
that's the gist of it.
We should all be adults and be able to have discussions where we can air out our opinions and our beliefs and not have to be so abrasive.
Yeah,
That's right.
One podcast I listen to a lot is Harmontown. It's Dan Harmon, the creator of Community and Rick and Morty, and his whole thing is he's like 45, and he was mostly talking about election stuff, but he was like, when I was growing up, people disagreed, but like you didn't think the other person was like trying to ruin your life. Like, you're like, oh, well, we don't agree on this, but it's fine. We have our own viewpoints. Like, we still can get along. It's like now because everyone has their own platform to say whatever they want, people are like, I'm wrong. They don't say that. They're like, I'm right. If you don't agree, you're 100% wrong. And here's why you're an idiot and why you're wrong. And he's like, we should all just be to the point to where we can kind of see, like, you're not really trying to ruin my life or my perspective on things. We just don't agree. It happens. It's human nature. We're not going to agree on everything. So,
well, we could go on and on.
Exactly.
About
That's what we need to get into tonight.
I think it's because we were talking about politics
Yeah,
right
I'm
before
not
we
getting into all
started, and I got really fired up. And
I did vote today, though. But
amen.
Go vote.
I'm just, I was in such a good mood tonight, and then we started talking about idiots, and now I'm mad and I can't get over it.
Well, I started off in a great mood tonight because I was reminded right from the top, Natalie and Polly are back in the house. No longer in the redemption house. They're back with the power.
It is pretty insane that, like, we talked about it when it came down to the voting. Did they even get a chance to vote before they were kicked out early on?
No.
It seemed like TJ was kind of like explaining to them and no one else.
TJ explained how the power vote works the first couple times they had to do it, but he had to like break it down for them for tonight's
If they
episode.
did, it was not long. Like, I mean, they were gone like right away, basically.
Yeah, it was immediate.
And then they've been living in a whole nother house for a month and a half.
Right.
Yeah, well.
And not
I
having
don't-
to compete.
I don't understand.
Yeah, so anyway, they started out with that. We see Tony and Bananas, and Tony's basically asking Bananas, like, hey, do you have any more get out of jail free cards?
Also, were they like
Tanning?
sun tanning?
They all had like long sleeves on.
No, they had on short sleeves and shorts.
Tony had stuff over his eyes. I saw that.
He had his headband over his eyes as if they were sunglasses.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't pay that close of attention.
You don't want to break that down?
No, I don't. Let's move on.
Okay.
Kaylee called Nelson her boyfriend.
yeah.
I did write that, but before I wrote that, it showed all the people in the redemption house seemingly all in the same room getting along. And I was like, oh, well, Brad and Kaylee have kind of calmed down. Because last we saw, Nelson's asking him to spank him. Brad's getting into it with them over Kaylee. And then
I didn't think that they were getting along.
they were to me. And then she's like, oh, my boyfriend. And then that's when it kind of started to escalate from there. And you knew that was set. I thought just we watched the show enough. I figured they were setting something up after that, and I didn't know where it was going to go. And we'll get to it in a second. But again, they kind of MTV kind of tips their hat a little bit onto what they're doing later on in the show. Sometimes same
It's
with
called foreshadowing.
That's it.
yeah.
There's literally a word.
I
for
know,
it.
but sometimes you
We
don't.
learned it in the 4th grade.
We did. It was 4th grade.
You don't want to do too much of that because then it becomes predictable. Like another show we watch a lot of times, Ink
Don't spoil
Master.
it.
Oh yeah,
They do that really bad.
they're really, really bad at
Yeah,
it.
if anyone's talking about, man, I'm gonna kill it, like they're gonna go home. You just know it. So,
Yep.
Like K
they
Cutter.
just ruin all of it.
I don't remember that one.
My next note was what is going on with Johnny and Natalie, and then a sub note: are they gonna get married?
No.
Because they're kind of acting like
Yeah, but
they're gonna get back together and live happily.
Yeah,
ever
but we
after.
know after the
but
season
it's like a
that's
real
not-
weird thing.
Weird vibes.
It is weird.
It was absolutely weird.
It's for sure weird. And he's like Angela who and all that stuff. But
It's weird.
so we after that we see actually right before that I want to jump into that. All the Lavender ladies said they're going to vote for Bananas and Tony.
Right.
They told Marie that. They were freaking out. Then we see Cara and Bananas talking about the Natalie situation and all that stuff. And Cara, I wrote, like, she's being kind of the voice of reason in this. And,
How crazy, right?
well, that's what I thought at first, except that all of the advice she gave him was the exact advice she should be giving to
Right.
herself about Kyle.
Yeah, I wrote Cara talking about Natalie and Johnny is so ironic.
That they're both so stubborn that they won't get together.
They both
Yeah.
don't want to admit they still care.
Talking about
and-
things.
and then try to make each other jealous.
Yeah.
Being reasonable human
I
beings.
was like, you are making sense, except that you need to listen to yourself.
You don't apply it to your
Yeah.
situation.
But then at the end of the conversation, they kind of make a joke like, "Oh, Kyle and Natalie should get together, and you and I should get together."
And then she like gets on his lap, and then it just cuts
She
away.
like mounts him, and that was weird. To
Hey.
be like a friend, you should kind of like go to sit next to them, but she like got on top of
to be
him.
fair, they live in a whole different world than
I
us.
know it was just weird. It was a weird move.
I don't
to
want
me.
I don't want to scan over this because I
Okay.
thought it was pretty wild. Brad said some pretty wild things this season.
Well, his eyes have calmed down, so his mouth has to act up.
Speaking of eyes, and his eyes, and his words, in his eyes, Nelson's credit score is 0.
Yeah, I noticed. I remember him
What
saying
in
that.
the world?
I didn't catch that.
He did. He's
Yeah.
like, in my eyes,
He was-
Nelson's credit score is 0, and I was like,
What
okay.
does that even mean?
Well, Brad's the bank, and he's gonna lend you money in the form of spankings.
This is the Brad Bank.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
The Spank
No.
Bank.
Oh,
The Brad Spank Bank.
and
It's good.
I don't ever want to say those words again.
Can we have a
Brad
segment?
Spank Bank.
No, stop saying that.
Stop making up segments.
That's no, like legitimately
Jake,
that.
You probably should stop making up segments.
Okay, so you know
'Cause you
earlier,
don't follow through.
earlier the story I said about catfishing with the guy that we know. They were using that phrase with people about
Spank
their,
bank?
about their pictures. They're like, that's one for
I've
the
heard-
spank
Oh man, I
bank.
thought we were being clever.
No,
I've heard of a sperm bank. I've never heard of a spank bank.
I don't want to get
I
into.
thought we came up with something
No.
real funny.
No, this is from 15 years ago at least.
Okay,
Either
well, who
way-
cares? I never knew about it.
I thought that quote in itself was so good that we couldn't just not.
I did.
mention it,
I didn't
so-
wrote that down. I meant to say something about it, but
Well, I wrote
forgot.
it down. That shows how much you thought about it.
I
and how
handwrite
much-
my notes and you type yours.
That's right. It's
I'm
more
more
Yeah, it's
official.
different.
I'm more selective on what I write down. So we the whole thing with them with Cara and Bananas ends, and
Then we have the vote.
Natalie and Polly's first vote.
Joss and Sylvia is who they vote for, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
It seems to me that they did not talk to Cara and Marie or Johnny and Tony before they went in to vote. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, do we need to address the Nelson and Natalie stuff first?
First, I mean, I figured we'd get into it. There's not anything to address really. Like they kind of had their arm around each
Okay,
other.
I think
From what we saw.
after the weird conversation that Johnny and Natalie had together with the weird vibes, and he said something about them not getting back together, which at the beginning of the season, I'm going to pull it up again. She said she was in a relationship with someone.
Specifically, another woman.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so it was like a whole thing. She was supposed to be happy and whatever. And when Johnny says that they're not going to get back together, I think like something snaps in her.
You always want what you can't have.
Maybe that's what it is. But
Did I touch your soul there?
Yeah, I like statements like that.
Okay.
He's clearly, when you respond the way Johnny did with this, you clearly still are in on this Natalie thing.
Johnny doesn't ever want to make himself appear vulnerable on anything.
In any way.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like his previous girlfriend has something to do with that.
Oh,
I don't know if you... I follow her on Instagram. Hannah
Now we're
Teeter.
going deep.
The snowboarder?
Yeah. She's one of the coolest people.
Maybe
I was trying
person.
to say she's the coolest person and also one of the coolest people.
Persons.
She's just like the definition of cool.
To be fair,
and I want to be her so bad.
To play devil's advocate, is she that cool if she dated Johnny for 5 years?
God, Zach.
They were together for what, like 6 years?
It was a long
Careful
time.
now.
I know.
It was a long time, and I feel like in the relationship she was the cool one. He thought it was cool to be dating an Olympic snowboarder.
It's kind of, to me at least, like I look at this kind of stuff like this makes sense to me why him and Cara may be so close, right? Because they're kind of responding the same sort of way. Cara with Kyle, Johnny with Natalie. That's just like they want to act like whatever, man.
It's a very I don't care what you do vibe.
But
they're humans.
You very much, yeah. And
They
I'm not
try to play
trying
it off.
Man, I always feel like I gotta like cover myself, right?
Okay, okay. Here's a good example. When Zach and I first started trying to think about getting back together,
Wait, what?
I told him that I was about to transfer to APSU, and he almost tried to ghost me for that. Because he knew that I was the light of his life, the air
that he breathes.
The thoughts in his head, the desire in his heart. Well, I am everything to him.
Well,
he knew it. He knew it then. And when he found out that I was going to be moving over 3 hours away, he did not want me to know that hurt him.
You had to have been exhausted too, because the truth of the matter is you were running through his mind all day.
I know,
every day.
Man, I was in such good shape.
Yeah,
that's it.
I was about 3 times smaller than I am now.
I had no idea there was a period that you guys weren't together.
Well, okay, so she's
was
being
like right after Christmas.
This is news to me.
She's being a little facetious. We never were really like together the first time.
Golly.
And she
no,
we weren't.
But
oh boy.
I mean,
Don't wink at me. We weren't.
It was enough that I was gonna leave for you.
For another man.
I was gonna leave the person that I was with for you.
Yeah, but at the same time,
and you were the first person I talked to Christmas morning.
Everybody always asks us to spill the tea. This is tea right here. This is grade A tea. This is top of the line tea.
Zach, you're on my laptop. I still have all the messages from Christmas morning that you sent me.
I don't.
I have our very first conversation that we ever had in my Instagram DMs. It was so long ago. That's when, if you wanted to send a direct message to someone on Instagram, you had to send a picture too in order to send it. You couldn't just send a message. And it was a picture of him when he was what, six?
I don't know.
5 in a lady's sun hat.
It worked.
Making a really weird stand.
It worked. Listen, like you could say what you want, but it worked. I was like, I need, because she started following me on Instagram, and long story, but I didn't have any way to get in touch with her, and so I was like, I didn't
know who he was.
I was like, I got to send her a picture to initiate contact, but I was like, I'm not gonna send her like a picture of me like today,
a weird selfie,
hey.
like taken in a bathroom mirror selfie.
Like, look at me.
Listen, and it's a good thing he did that, because if he had sent me like a bathroom mirror selfie
or a picture of his boobs,
But if he had just sent me like a selfie or just a normal picture of himself, like current picture, I would have opened it with the red receipt and not responded.
Did you know that his profile picture on Facebook for the longest used to be a mirror selfie?
That's not true.
He was in his school outfit because you guys wore uniform
This
school.
is not true.
Is one where he's holding it up here and looking at the mirror. He's not looking at the camera. You know those.
Everybody on MySpace did that.
To be fair, I've never liked selfies, and so I don't take them, just as a general rule.
We called those MySpace angles back in the day.
They were MySpace angles back in the day because it was...
Boy.
There was a lot of girls who would...
take them at high angles to make them
Guys
appear.
Guys would do it too. Guys would do it too. But it was a big thing with scene girls who were like into the music we were into.
That's right.
We
knew those girls.
It was the most flattering pictures of them in every way, as far as like just even like makeup but also proportionally.
And then you'd see them in person, and you'd be
You're
like,
like, that's not the same person.
"Do I know you?"
Yeah, I know.
I had an encounter like that.
They were called MySpace angles. I mean,
where
that's what it is.
I actually got hooked up with a girl off of not that kind of hooking up, but we met through MySpace.
This was
And,
before Tinder.
she
For
had
those
it-
of you
right.
that,
way before.
But for those of you listeners that
hadn't even been thought about.
that never had a MySpace, the younger audience.
She had a real colorful name. You know what I'm talking about. You know.
What?
Flowers, right?
Okay, just tell your
Anyway.
story.
I have to write it down for you.
Yeah, 'cause
anyway,
flowers.
she invited me to a football game that her school was having, and when I saw her in person, I looked at my buddy and I said, "That ain't her." I wrote your name.
So you guys can't see. Jake. Good Lord.
It was so fun.
Jake did not want to say her name out loud on the podcast, so I handed him my notebook to write her name. While he's telling that story, he wrote my name down and didn't realize it until he'd written it off.
Anyway,
So instead of this girl's name, he wrote ZAC.
I remember her, though.
I spelled your name right.
I don't know if... I get the flower. I get it now. I get it, yeah.
Anyway, so let's get... Somehow we got into all this, but needless to say, so like Johnny instantly, when they're at the club, is making... That's a good
the picture
That
he
was the
sent
picture,
me. And I was like, oh, this is funny. I'm going to message that guy back.
Anyway, you continue.
No, but the whole reason I told that story was because, like, we were talking a lot, and you told me almost immediately, you're like, hey, I don't want to scare you off, but I want you to understand that I'm
a murderer.
No, he was like, I'm dating to marry. So
God,
I don't remember saying
you
that
did.
at all.
You did. You were like,
Jeez.
I want you to understand my intentions. Like, I'm not just dating around for fun.
I think I may have said that. Like I was like, I'm not dating just for fun. I really am going to dispute you.
We had a big deep talk about
That
it. And that's when I backed off because I was 19.
No,
I was 19
we
and I was like, I'm not ready for this because
we could talk about this
I'm
later.
going to finish this semester at community college and then I'm going to move away.
This
is not going to work out.
We have not talked about the challenge for like 15 minutes.
And then we got back together.
So
and
Johnny,
here we are.
So Johnny is... I mean, look... Natalie at this point has danced on like 3 different guys. And then her and Nelson start talking.
She was doing a lot on Hunter.
Right. She was.
That's what I'm saying. It was more Hunter
all of a sudden
than anything to me.
Johnny makes this a thing. And we get back to the house. And all we see, because we later hear that supposedly they were in bed together, all we see is them with arms linked walking back in the house.
Yeah,
that's it.
And Johnny says when he goes in, he's like, I'm going to stir up stuff. And so he's like, yeah, you guys were we had to kick you out of our room because we couldn't sleep. And we didn't see any of that.
Right.
What I noted was ironic was that last season it happened where Natalie and Johnny were like a thing and then it came out that Johnny and Kaylee had something first, and then Nelson got upset because they all spilled the tea for him, and then Natalie got upset and was done with Johnny. And now it's Johnny saying Natalie and Nelson hooked up, and Kaylee's ready to fall apart. And I thought it was weird that they just completely reversed roles. But I also remembered, wasn't it Kaylee that outed Natalie on Twitter?
Yes. Yeah, or Instagram, something like that.
I almost said that Natalie would not be all over Nelson knowing that he's with Kaylee. But then I remembered, I think it's Kaylee's the one that outed her before she was ready.
To be fair, Johnny said from the beginning he was trying to stir up trouble, so I don't believe any of it, really. I mean, I don't think anything happened. I personally don't.
And they would show it, right? Like that's something.
I would think so.
That's something you would. They've showed every other girl hooking up with Kyle and
exactly.
Cara.
I don't know though.
I don't think anything happened other than they were sitting in the bed talking or something.
My thing is, I fully believe that Johnny was making everything up. It was all one big lie to get Kaylee upset
careful now.
And not be tied to Nelson anymore. But when Kaylee confronted Nelson, he never denied it. He was like, "Who told you that? Who told you that?" And she's like, "Just answer the question."
His first question was like something along the lines of, "What are you even talking about?" And then she repeated it, and he's like, "Who told you that?" And so from the way he reacted to me wasn't in like, I'm not saying that I did or didn't do it. It was like, I don't even know where to begin with this.
But you're the man. She asked several times, and he never said no.
I heard
not
him.
once. She gave him plenty of
But
opportunity.
he also knows that Bananas has been in that house for the last...
Yeah, but he never said no. If I was asking you questions like this and you just kept saying, "Who told you this? What are you talking about?" and you never actually said the word no, I would believe that you did something.
To be fair to Nelson, we all know and agree he's not the most articulate with his words.
That's where I'm going.
I'm not going to disparage Nelson.
Don't you say nothing bad about Nelson.
We all know he's not the best with his words. So,
but you have to understand, if you're being accused of cheating on your girlfriend and you don't say no at any point when you're given multiple opportunities, it makes you look like you're guilty of at least something.
I personally don't think anything happened. And I feel like he was too genuine with her to begin with. He was like, "We fancy each other. We're fancy."
I don't think he would do anything with anybody because he likes Kaylee so much.
That's what I think.
But for Kaylee's sake, she's asking him, "Did you do this?" And he's coming back with more questions instead of, "No, who told you that?" He's just saying, "Who told you that?"
Yeah, he did say that. Again, to me though, we jumped ahead a little bit, but I was like, his perspective was, the first question was like, "What are you even talking about?" And I agree, he did never. I noticed that too.
She asked him several times, and finally it got to the point where she finally came out and said, "Just answer the question." And then he just turned and looked at Johnny.
Well, let's jump back to the voting phase real quick.
Right.
Polly and Natalie go in. They vote for Sylvia and Joss. Again, it seems like they did not talk to Bananas and Tony.
It almost seems like they didn't talk to each other very much.
Yeah.
Natalie made it a point to say, "I'm not voting Nelson in."
Yes.
So,
who knows?
I don't understand.
What a time to be a fan of the challenge.
So they do that. Marie tells Cara, hey, all the Lavender Ladies group, they're all going after Bananas and Tony. So they vote as a cast-off to Shane and Nelson. And then Johnny and Bananas, they're like, it's between Sylvia and Joss or Hunter and Ashley. Well, if they would have been paying attention or talking to
anyone,
Polly and Natalie, they would have known who they voted for, and they could have tied it up, and then wouldn't, at that point, Polly and Natalie have the final say-so on who goes in because they're the power couple or whatever. So they should have done that. They didn't. Obviously, they voted for Ashley and Hunter, and it backfired on them, and they had to go in. Right. And so then they had to pick. Well, we'll skip that. We did skip one thing real quick, which I wanted to talk about.
maybe 2.
Shane and Nelson were on a weird rocky area.
I wrote down that they were bickering like an old married couple.
And then that was during the elimination. I mean, the vote. And then after that, Shane comes out and he's like, I just want you to know.
He's like really emotional.
He's like, I'm on the verge of like a psychological break. And that's when they have this like genuine like
sit down talk.
Makeup. Like, hey, I didn't mean to like try to stir you up. And like they came together.
It was like a regrouping.
They worked out their issues and got on the same level. And Nelson apologized for some things, and probably Shane did too. I didn't really see that as much, but
like it was the best show of teammanship.
They definitely worked
that I've ever seen on the challenge.
For people who hated each other for at least half this season.
I mean, how many times have you seen rivals on the challenge of any season where they hate each other first day, they start to work better together, they get closer, they form a bond, then they start arguing, and then they come together and just air out their dirty laundry where they're like, hey, I'm feeling mentally defeated and I need you to do this to help me stay focused and stay in this game. And then the other person apologize for their actions that may have not necessarily hurt their partner, but definitely didn't help.
Yeah, most of them are just too stubborn to like really like. Here's the way Rivals typically works to me. Either you fall in 2 camps. One, you're in the camp of after like 2 days, you guys are just best friends, and it's not really a rivalry anymore, and you work together just fine.
Like Cara and Laurel.
Well, I'm specifically to this season. Like Jose and Davon were to me not rivals at all.
Yeah.
Paulie and Natalie not rivals at all.
I think there's something else there.
Yeah,
though.
but I mean, even I'm trying to think of some other ones. Bananas and Tony, like they got over it right away.
Yeah.
Corey and Devin, which we know that's a weird situation because the whole issue with Devin. But then you have people on the other hand, like Amanda and Zach, who generally like still do not like each other at all
and can't even focus enough on the game to get past their differences.
Yeah, and so you typically fall into one of the 2 camps, and most of them I say lean towards the first, where they just get over it and they work together. Shane and Nelson work together, but they still have like they're kind of like oil and water. Like they don't mix well, but they work at their ways to like make things work. And again, it was nice to see a partner come in and say, hey, I'm kind of in a vulnerable spot right now. And the other one, instead of being like stubborn and like, well, get over it, I'm right. Like he was like, I probably didn't do the best at, my side of things.
Like watching that one clip of their conversation, their interaction, I think would be enough to help people like in marriage counseling. Like it was
maybe that's what Nelson's going to do.
It was such
this.
an awesome conversation. Like my heart was so happy watching that. And then like Shane looked like he was going to start crying, and he kind of cocked his head.
Shane cried a couple times tonight.
Yeah, but like he cocked his head and kind of was half joking. He was like, "Treat me like your girlfriend, not your boyfriend."
Yeah.
Which I totally
and then
like. I understood
you're my boy.
Yeah, it was funny, but I kind of understood what he meant. He's
yeah,
because Nelson is like a man's man. He has the male mentality where he doesn't think about a lot of stuff.
Hey, you better watch it.
You be careful.
Listen, I have to sit you down sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Listen, I'm coming for everybody today. I'm snapping necks and cashing checks.
You're losing fans.
I think I'm gaining fans.
Zach's going to be the favorite after this week.
So
yeah, right.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Exactly.
And you're perfectly okay with it.
I mean, I knew going into this. Again, I'm here to do the ins and the outs and the production work, and
and give them your hearts.
I'm like the straight man that on like NBA. I'm like Pete Pranicki. You're like Brevin Knight. You're the color commentator.
Is that what I am?
Yeah, because no.
What do you mean that you're the straight man?
Like I'm trying to like move the show along and like
because you said I'm the straight man and you're the colorful one.
I'm the straight man.
Jake.
You're the gay man.
Okay.
You're the straight lady. And we have our roles, and like Jake is clearly dived into
all right.
his heel
We'll
role.
get to that. We'll get to it.
And so
God.
Anyway, after voting, we see Bananas and Tony get voted in. I don't think they were expecting it. I genuinely thought
They thought that Cara and Marie.
they thought they had
were
the
gonna
numbers,
go.
especially with Polly and Natalie having the power vote, and they thought Cara and Marie would vote similar. They got voted in, and
They get to choose between Hunter and Ashley, Sylvia and Joss, or
Shane
Shane and Nelson. And I was like, there's no way they're not picking Hunter and Ashley.
Yeah, Zach took a poll and was like, "Who do you guys think they're going to pick?"
Yeah.
And Hannah, you said,
I said Hunter
not
and
Joss
Ashley.
and Sylvia.
But first
and
of
I
all-
said, you know what?
First of all, by taking a poll, I looked at you guys and said, who do you think they're going to pick? I didn't write it down.
Zach took a questionnaire and asked myself and Hannah, who do you guys think's going in? And Hannah said, not Joss and Sylvia. I said, you know what, Hannah? I'm going to say it's going to be them.
Again,
and then
because
what do you know?
you're already getting in character.
Well, the thing is, I said not Joss and Sylvia because why would they want to go up against Joss?
Well,
look at him.
To me, Shane and Nelson were the obvious choice rival-wise, but Johnny and Tony, as strong as they are, they don't want to risk losing to them.
Right.
Johnny would be emasculated if he lost to Shane.
Good Lord.
Oh yeah, it would.
I mean, am I wrong?
I'm telling you, it would.
It would eat him,
It
like
would
tear him
wreck
apart.
him.
Yeah, losing back-to-back seasons to Devin and then Shane, like
Johnny would like.
Well, and Nelson
He
getting
would.
beat by
He would want to die.
TYB.
But I mean, like, Johnny and Shane's rivalry is, to me, way more intense than Nelson.
Right.
I feel like it's a weird. I don't know. There's something deep rooted in it.
Maybe it's just weird.
So they picked Joss and Sylvia, which was probably what they considered the weakest of the three. Am I wrong on that? Well, because I'm just going off their reasoning. They said they didn't want to face Shane because he
Honestly-
said he's a human mermaid or whatever that
You don't-
phrase was.
Yeah, Tony was like, he's like a human, not a mermaid because those aren't human.
He's a human Uzi, right?
Well,
oh,
I
come
don't know what just
on!
came out of your mouth. I think Tony
I don't
was.
know what you're
I
talking
think
Tony
Tony.
Allen!
Oh yeah.
I think Tony was trying to say that Shane is like a human fish. He is really good in water challenges, but it came out as merman.
Do you guys remember that Disney Channel original movie about the
About
kid
13th year.
that went through puberty and became a merman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to talk about the one where it's the three girl mermaids, or
I don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one either. You thinking about
Yeah.
Cheetah Girls?
no, those are four girls.
What was the second one called? The Return?
I don't think so.
No, it's like Cheetah Girls 2 back in action or something.
Oh, that's it.
And then Cheetah Girls 3, they actually went to Spain, and it was like an actual.
I thought you were
It
gonna
was
say
like an
space.
actual
I
movie.
thought you were going to say they went to space.
No, they went to Spain, Barcelona.
Barcelona. So
What was that?
that's how in Spanish in like Cotillion, like where Mark Gasol's from, they say THs. So they do say Barcelona. It's really weird.
But you put a little twang on it.
No,
Barcelona.
I did not say it like that.
Where were we?
We're
the
trying to talk about the
elimination.
Cheetah Girl.
No, we're the elimination. So they go in against
Okay.
Josh and Sylvia.
Okay.
The first
So, okay. So, about Joss and Sylvia, we were wondering why they voted them in. The fact of the matter is you really don't have much of anything on Joss and Sylvia. Like, they just haven't done...
other than they haven't.
They haven't had to do much of anything.
Because
Right.
it's been these other teams picking at each other, like Shane and Nelson. We've seen a lot of.
Arguably, the weakest rivalry of all of them was Josh and Sylvia, but between Johnny and Tony. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
because he hates Hunter.
Yeah.
He just recently started hating Josh, it seems, because he doesn't think he's
Because Josh said something, essentially.
because he stood
it's-
up to it.
It's because Joss tried to stand up to Johnny, and Sylvia knew it wasn't worth losing his temper and starting to fight.
Well, and to me, Josh knew, like, when she said that, he's like, "Oh, it's dumb. Let's not get into this."
it's like she snapped him back into reality.
And so Johnny's using, "Oh, she's got his balls in her purse."
I will say...
And that was the dumbest thing.
He said it twice now.
I know, and it was so stupid. It made me really mad when he said that. Like, Joss had every reason to be mad at Johnny and to want him to shut up and to stop saying stupid stuff just for the sake of it. And then Johnny thinks that he's so much better than Joss because Joss has the common sense to not beat him to a pulp.
It's fun when she gets fired up, by the way.
That's what you wanted to say.
No, the thing I love about the Josh and Sylvia dynamic is how Sylvia little boys him all the time. He is this.
It does kind of seem like that.
She does. She little boys him all the. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
like
she's the mom.
not even that. She's just like. She doesn't have his balls in her purse or whatever, but she's just like. Even with the elimination, was just like, dude, stop moving the stuff. Don't touch it.
Yeah, she takes charge.
And I like it. I like that. Am I the only one?
I like to see that side of her.
Because like nobody would expect that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, apparently she kind of was out there
which
on the
we
real
didn't
world
see
season.
that. We
Yeah.
didn't watch that, but because she's one of the more
Seemingly laid back.
yeah.
And
so it's pretty fun to see her
Personality.
little boy Josh, quite a bit, and he's like cool with it. Doesn't say a word at any point.
I think to his side, I think he kind of understands the dynamic of it, and he knows he's the muscle in that. Like, that's what he is.
Is that your cat?
That was the puppy.
That was Buster downstairs. So they do this challenge, and the first part is diving, which honestly had nothing to do with the challenge because
There wasn't really a
I
dive.
didn't get it.
they went underwater and just freed some little floating things. The challenge was
It was super cold water.
cold water building a tower above 3 feet for 3 seconds.
This had to be the most infuriating challenge to ever be a part
You saw
of.
how like frustrated Johnny was, and we saw
So much so he yelled at TJ.
Yeah, we saw
Okay,
multiple
yeah.
times how close both of them got, and then they would just crumble right at the top. And so the tower's floating, and so we're assuming because we never saw anyone hold the tower and like the base for it that they told him you can't do that.
Right.
And didn't Johnny try to hold it to kind of get it steady at first? And then TJ's like, hey, man, you can't hold the platform.
I don't know.
And that's when Johnny's like, TJ, I know.
Well, no, he said it when TJ was like, "It's for $1 million."
Yeah, he says for $1 million.
"Oh, TJ, God!" And then expletives.
Anyway, so like before they even start, I seriously thought that they were going to choose to go against Hunter and Ashley, but they said Sylvia
I
and
thought
Joss.
it was going to be Hunter and Ashley, honestly.
And Joss was ready to go. I think because Joss was still fired up from Johnny's stupid backhanded comments. So they get down there, and I don't know if you guys noticed this. TJ was trying to explain the challenge, and it cut to Tony, and his face just looked like TJ was speaking Pig Latin, and Tony had no idea what was going on.
I didn't see that.
He was staring so intently, like he could not, like it's like he was trying
like
to understand, but he couldn't.
Think Tony's dumb enough to not understand Pig Latin. It was not like a real language.
Well, no, I mean, like maybe he didn't catch on that it was Pig Latin, and he's like, I don't know what words are coming out of TJ's mouth.
To be on it, like it was a pretty straightforward challenge. Like there wasn't many steps to it.
Yeah, but his face was contorted.
So they start building whatever. We see Johnny get super frustrated. We see Sylvia and Joss get frustrated. Everyone's yelling at Joss, "Don't touch anything," and ultimately they win. Huge
Who wins?
win. Joss and Sylvia.
Okay, you didn't say.
Well, I was talking about them last.
You said everybody was frustrated.
Okay. Regardless, Joss and Sylvia win. People who are listening to us have watched the show. I don't think anyone would listen to us without watching it. That'd be pretty weird.
Wesley.
Yeah, don't
Wesley
you.
might actually.
Yeah.
Wesley listens, and he doesn't watch the show.
So yeah, Joss and Sylvia win, and that's a huge win. That's taken out probably the biggest team
It was
remaining.
their biggest competition.
Yeah, and that's why they made that move. Is they're like, we can't beat them in the final, or it's going to be super hard to.
Yeah.
We need to take them out before that. I agreed with the move.
I fully supported that. That was a great idea.
And it worked out. It played out perfectly. So they go to redemption. That's when Johnny, we've already talked about it. That's when Johnny starts stirring up stuff.
I'm gonna say this about Johnny. You know what he is.
A liar.
He's that kid. When you're growing up, you go over to your buddy's house to play video games, and you say you're playing Madden or something, right? Some game that you have to win at, which I guess is any game. So
Yeah, what else is the point of playing?
he is that guy who, when you're about to win,
Turns it off.
he turns it off and says, "But you didn't win."
Yeah, it didn't finish.
He's that guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's that guy. Because when it was over and they're doing their whole side thing over here after they've lost, everybody's celebrating, he's just like,
Here's
It wasn't a real physical challenge. It was just stacking cards.
And here's where I'm conflicted, because we had a little backlash because some people were like, I can't believe, because I kind of stuck up for his appearance on the show. I'm not personally a fan of the way he carries himself a lot of times, but I do ultimately think he's good for the show.
Yes.
I mean, I think,
but that's two different conversations.
Exactly. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a villain.
Exactly. I said that
you want to be
week.
like, please beat him, and then when he wins and the team that you're rooting for to win loses, you're like, oh, I wish he had lost. I wish he would have gone.
I hit my mic.
And then the next time he goes in, you're like, oh, this team really needs to beat him. And then they beat him, and you're like, yeah.
You need a guy that divides the fan base basically 50-50. Because
if everybody gets along, then the show is boring.
Or if the worst case worse than that, worst case is just not caring about somebody. And indifference is the worst thing for a challenge or a TV show in general. Like, if fans don't care one way or the other, if someone stays or goes, that's worse than hating them or liking them. Because we saw after this week how divisive the house is and the fans are for Johnny specifically.
Divisive or divided?
Either. I don't know. But regardless, we see how divisive he is.
Yes.
And I think it's good. Like, again, we don't defend necessarily the way that he does things, but he's ultimately good for the show because it riles up both sides no matter what he does.
Yeah, when I say this stuff, I'm not saying, man, get him off my TV. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he handles things in a childlike way, which I'm not a fan of.
Some people are, though.
I have the right to not be a fan of that, as much as, these banana fans and stands have a right to be like, yeah, man, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fine. Again, opinions, right?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's again, I think last week proved, I'm pretty sure this week there will be even more people like freaking out about, oh, well, it was just a stupid challenge that wasn't physical. They would have dominated them and anything. I mean, that's how the challenge goes.
But the fact is, they lost. And he lost again to, a guy that, and a team that most people probably would have pegged him to come out the victor over.
Yeah.
So, which has happened pretty regularly lately. So at some point you got to wonder, we talk about the strong teams, right? At some point we may have to have a conversation about who the strong teams really are.
He's not won since Rivals 3.
Do you mean strong like physically or strong mentally?
Just strong in general.
Overall,
the teams
like
you're most fearful
ranking.
of.
Yeah, power ranking.
Oh, yeah. Zach and Amanda were it when they were still in the house. They just couldn't get. Yeah. They couldn't work together because Zach had the muscle.
Yeah.
But Amanda was really smart.
Yeah, and so again, there's a lot of factors that come into this. I do agree. Johnny's definitely. I think anyone that watched the show can see he's on his decline. Like, he peaked, and he's still good, but he's not what he used to be.
He's definitely on the other side of the hill.
People are not afraid of him like they used to be.
I mean, look at this entire season. The whole house here.
5 years ago, the move tonight wouldn't have been made.
No.
They would not have said, I'm going to go after Johnny and his partner, who's another big physical guy, no matter what the elimination is.
They would have tried to scheme and then get in the votes, and then the people that they schemed with that said, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, are going to vote completely opposite.
He would have ridden his way further than this just out of his reputation, which it's fine. He's won more than anyone else. He deserves his reputation to an extent. I will say, you go back, he's lost a lot more recently than he's won. And so that's why I say he's on his downcline. I mean,
Here's the other thing we need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Because we keep these people that we're not paying attention to keep performing. Mm-hmm. Sylvia is now 5-1 in eliminations. Yeah.
That's a good record to have.
It's a great record for someone who constantly gets overlooked.
And we talked about, especially like her elimination with Melissa was just like brutal last year.
I mean, I'm still surprised when I think about that.
I mean, she was the underdog in every way. Just Melissa was an MMA fighter and like seemed more feisty and wanting to fight.
By all means, she should have won that.
And so again, Sylvia proved it.
She showed up. She showed that she can also be a force to be reckoned with, which I think a lot of people never saw in her before.
And I got in trouble because I said what I felt at the time. I was like, this season her storyline's been kind of boring, but it's because her and Joss have mostly kind of laid back and let, from what we've seen, again, we see an edited version of everything that happened. We've seen them just kind of let other people almost like screw themselves over.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, her storyline to a degree is out of her control. That's MTV putting the show together. But also, they have laid low, and I think it was a smart move. I also think that now that a lot of people are out of the house and it's getting closer and closer to the end, that we're going to see more of them regardless, because there's not really anybody left.
There's no one to hide behind anymore for anyone.
Yeah.
Not their team specifically, but any team that's weak is going to get called out or lose or whatever. So we see we already talked about Johnny going back in redemption now. So let's skip ahead and go strictly to the Purge challenge.
Well, I did want to say this. With Johnny telling Kaylee about that, I feel like he decided to drop that lie of a bomb to get back at Natalie for flirting with Nelson when he told
100%.
her not to.
He's pulling a Polly, is what he's doing.
Well, okay. You're giving...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Because that's what Polly did, right?
I agree, but you're saying someone who's been on the show for like 18 years
He's
is
doing
pulling
the same
something.
thing.
Yeah, but I would say Johnny originated that.
But Polly did it first.
Polly pulled
No.
a Johnny.
Polly's a fan of the show. You're about to jump into character.
Here
I know
we go.
you are.
You are so
but
out of your element. You don't even realize it.
I'm not.
So with the Purge challenge, it looked like it was going to be really difficult, and it kind of, from what we saw, proved to be.
Well, Polly and Natalie go first, right?
No.
No.
Oh, no,
Hunter and Ashley go first.
And they do pretty well.
Ashley didn't do a whole lot. She did the minimal.
She-
No, that's right. She made a few steps to kind of meet him in the middle. He went a little bit further.
He went about 2/3, and she would come in the last third.
He did great.
Yeah,
It was awesome to see.
They
He just did really, really well.
They did the most teamwork to me. She met him further out than any other team. Am I wrong on that?
No.
You're wrong about a lot of things, but not that.
Yeah, he would come about 2/3 of the way. She would meet him the rest of it, and they got 6 flags, I think, and they were the first ones to go. So
Six Flags.
yeah, there you go.
Okay.
They fell eventually, and then who was next? Do you remember?
Nelson and
Was it
Shane.
Nelson and Shane?
That was the Nelson. and
Nelson
Shane
got
one.
halfway down the
Poor
log
guy.
and
Turned around
fell.
and started crawling, and like we knew he was done. And so that's one of the times
It was
Shane
sad.
cried. And
then Polly and Natalie go, and I completely forgot that Polly and Natalie were even on this show.
yeah,
yeah.
and he did the opposite strategy, not opposite, but he would basically run all the way across.
Natalie did the minimal 2-step.
Yeah.
You had to have both feet on it.
It's a strategy. Like I don't hate him for that. Like if that's what works for him, and clearly it did work for him.
Yeah, because
Polly's small and agile. Like that's what he is. Like no one I don't think is afraid of him physically, but he is.
It reminds me of Derek.
Yeah,
Derek-
no, I'm not going to give him that pedigree.
No, but I'm saying
bodies.
Derek is a small guy,
Yeah,
but he's quick
yeah,
and he can move around you.
yeah. And
So,
so
like when you're a big tough tall guy like Zach's size or Joss's size, you're going against Derek. Derek kind of has an upper hand on you.
yeah, stuff like this isn't built for that. And so they killed. They got 8 flags.
They got more than
That's
Hunter
right.
and
Yeah.
Ashley, that's for sure.
They got 8, and so then is it
Cara
Cara and Marie?
Marie go.
Here's the thing.
I want to hear it. I want to hear what your mind, how it processed what happened tonight. Again, with Polly.
Oh, well, I'm skipping that for now.
But we're going to talk about
I'm
it.
going to Marie right now.
Here we go.
We love Marie. Her plan was flawed on this one because everyone was going sideways to where they can run with the movement of the log.
Yeah.
Marie jumps like perpendicular to it.
It's like she's walking on a tightrope.
To where both feet are on it, having to like sidestep to it. They fall immediately. She knocks Cara off. Marie kind of laughs when she apologizes to Cara. Cara's
She
mad.
thought it was funny.
So they fall, and then
Joss and Sylvia go.
they fall.
Yeah.
And so no one else did good.
So Hunter knows that he's okay, but he also knows that Shane and Nelson did not do well. And then he comes out with the I'm as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs that I'm sure really blew a lot of people away tonight, because I mean that's a phrase.
Well, Jake didn't even heard it. I've heard it before.
I live in the South.
But I mean that's the thing. Like, we live in the South, and that's a phrase that I've heard.
It's an old phrase.
Numerous occasions growing up.
I've never heard anyone under the age of like 55 say it though.
Yeah, but think about who said it.
Oh no, he's from Alabama or something like that. Or Georgia.
I was about to say he's a good old Alabama boy.
Yeah.
Maybe from Floribama.
And so
That's even worse.
anyway, we get to the end of it. Shane and Nelson are the worst. It's a purge challenge. We thought maybe two teams were going home.
I think we all called that it would be 2 teams that went.
we thought
We were wrong.
Yeah, we were wrong. It was only one.
Unfortunately, I
And-
really hoped it was going to be 2 teams.
And so
It'd be more fun.
Shane and Nelson were the worst, and so they go to the redemption, which makes it 4 teams in the
they
redemption
cried
house.
a little bit.
It makes it 4 teams in redemption, so that sets it up for the next phase.
The redemption elimination.
Yeah, and
Double cross.
yeah, and everyone's competing. So
Right.
That's right.
So that's got to mean that the double cross just gets some sort of an advantage.
You get to pick who you want to go
Probably.
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice.
It's probably they get to pick who they want, and so we'll see. We don't know yet. And then also we saw that there is another purge next week? Or no. The redemption house is done after this thing. Whoever loses the challenge next week goes home.
Oof.
Is what they said.
Yep.
Or at least they led us to believe.
Back to good old days.
Yeah.
Here is my thing. You've got 4 teams in the redemption house. Brad and Kyle is a team. It's a guy team.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Bananas, guy team. Shane
Shane
and
is.
Nelson, guy team.
Mm-hmm.
Cam and Kaylee.
Why'd you wink at me?
Gaga
I'm
team.
I'm not winking at you.
You clearly are.
Cam and Kaylee
You
is
want me
a
to wink at
girl
you?
team. Unless they are putting in the equalizers that we don't know about, how are Cam and Kaylee going to do?
I don't know.
Hold on. I'm not going to let you talk about Cam like this.
Tonight's elimination didn't need an equalizer. To me, like you could have put any
Right.
team like
It was different.
they needed an elimination like that to where like honestly it was just who could get that thing built first, and it had nothing to do with you had to be stronger or whatever. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm just saying, like, Cam and Kaylee are the only girls in the entire redemption house, and they're teamed together.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it doesn't matter who they go against.
Jake wants to jump into
They're
his
going to
character.
be going against 2 very strong men. All 6 of those men in that house are just in very, very good shape and very strong.
Yeah.
And some of them are very smart.
Are you ready for this?
Let me first.
I knew it.
And I need silence in the classroom for a minute.
We're at our kitchen table.
First off, in the words of Dr. Phil, I find it offensive to my sensibilities that you continue to refer to me as a character.
Well, before you get into
Do
that,
you watch
Yeah, I
Dr. Phil?
no.
Yeah.
Before you get into this,
Yeah, you do?
I think it's a good show.
Here's the thing. You
It and Maury.
you put up a poll
Jake.
tonight. You put up a poll on our Twitter after the episode wanting to
poll?
know. He wanted.
I didn't know about this.
She never knows about anything.
Go look at it. He put
What
it
do
up.
you mean I never know about anything? Anything.
Go look at it real quick.
I'm trying to pull it up.
Go vote while you're at it.
He wrote, in regards to Pauly, Zach seems to think Jake's playing a heel character. Jake says his opinions and statements on Pauly and his performance are straight from the heart. He wrote that like he's not the one who wrote this, but he did. And he's like, what do you think? Like, I'm the one who wrote it or whatever. He's the one who wrote this question and the poll.
Well, almost to be fair, it sounds like Hannah wrote it.
Well, okay.
Do you think I would write this?
Yep.
Hannah doesn't do anything with our social media.
I don't even, like, I don't know any of the login
She has all of it, but she
information.
just doesn't use it. So it's sitting at 67% think you're a heel. That's exactly what it is. And it's fine that that's what it is for the show, but and I know, and 2/3 of our audience knows that you're jumping into this character, which is fine for the sake of the show, but don't act like it's anything other than that.
First off, I asked for silence so I could.
But I wanted you to know your own poll results.
I get it. I need to go into a little diatribe here for a minute.
Hannah, vote on that poll.
I already did.
The fact that people think this is a character that I've developed just for the sake of a podcast is
100% correct.
Is incorrect.
No, it's not.
Have you ever heard the statement, "You're wrong"?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something. You're wrong. And anybody who's voted me a heel are wrong.
No, they're not.
Because here's the thing.
You're not a heel in general for the show, but when it launches into this point, that's when you go to it.
Here's the thing is that, and you can, because you have claimed that from the time we started really talking about Paulie, that I, along with you and Han too, have deemed him awful.
No.
Just we don't like him. We hate him. We wish he wasn't here.
I don't hate anybody.
All right.
Yeah, I never said I hated him.
I can't.
All right,
So, see, you're already screwing up your points.
I can't find
What-
it
what
in my heart to hate anyone.
What is it that you think I said? Say what
I
you
know
think.
what you said. You said...
What do you think I said?
Once he turned the corner and lost his first elimination of 3 and went to the Redemption House is when he started going after people. And you're like, I like it. He's a heel. You need a good heel on the show.
Right.
Exactly. So you're playing into that same stereotype.
No.
Yes,
no,
you are.
no.
You paused.
No.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to follow you and I can't seem to do it. There's no substance to what you're saying.
Jake, every argument you've had about this situation, I've refuted, and you have not had any sort of answers for.
I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. I'm not playing a character. This is my real, honest opinion that Paulie...
Then why does every time you talk, you're reading your computer screen? You glance at your notes every time we get into this.
I've just got Twitter. I've just got Twitter open up right now.
At the poll.
I have no notes on Twitter.
Okay.
All right. Here's the thing. My personal, unbiased opinion. I have no reason to pull for Paulie. I have no reason to pull for anyone on the show. I'm not related to him. I'm not buddy-buddy with any of these people. But the fact of the matter is that while you two continue to hate on the guy, this guy, again, has come out of the Redemption House, has won the first daily out of the Redemption House, won the power vote, saw Johnny and Tony, one of the strongest teams, if not the strongest, go into Redemption House. Had an opportunity again today to get the power vote back again, and this guy jumps on a spinning wheel, running pretty much full across this thing, while Natalie just takes 2 little tippy-toe steps just so she can qualify as being on the contraption, whatever you want to call it. Even falls. The odds are against him to fall off this thing and to not win this power vote, to have the power in the house, and yet he rises back up on top of it and then wins it. The fact of the matter is that at the beginning of the season, this guy was saying a whole lot of stuff and wasn't backing it up. All right?
And then continually not backed it up.
You can't learn how to succeed until you fail. Correct?
No.
To an extent, it's correct. All right? What Paulie has done is he failed early on, and he learned from his mistakes, and now he is capitalizing on it. He is learning how to play this game. He is playing it well, and he has won 3 challenges in a row, essentially.
No.
Winning the elimination.
Yeah, that's not.
And then winning 2 dailies.
Dailies are a completely separate thing to me because, again, going back to last season, Natalie was really good at dailies. She won a lot of dailies. She's awful at eliminations. Paulie's probably one of those people that's going to be good at dailies and be terrible at eliminations. He's proven that he's not good at eliminations. They won 1.
Do you think it's the pressure?
It may be. I don't know what it is, but they're not. You no matter how in your own head about this you want to be, you can't refute that he's not good at eliminations. I'll give you he's good at dailies because it plays into his his build and, just the agility and all that stuff. The eliminations he's not good at. He won one that Natalie did all the work on.
Zach.
Yeah, exactly.
Zach. Let's go back to that elimination.
Let's go back to they've been on a vacation in a house for a month and a half while everyone else has been doing things.
But we've deemed that Natalie's not very good at these eliminations.
But she's good
right?
at dailies. She was good last time on dailies.
Who won this daily today?
They did.
Who won this daily today?
He did on that. I told you, I'll give you that. He's going to probably be good at dailies. To be fair, we've only seen him in 2.
All right, let's go back to that elimination. Because we saw him, right? He got tired out,
yeah,
and he almost didn't have anything left. He almost couldn't keep spinning that wheel around. But this guy saw that they were right there, and then he started spinning it again, fell off the thing. I know we're running short on time.
Yeah.
But he came through in a moment. We had every opportunity to lose out to Brad and Kyle, who everyone has deemed possibly the strongest team in the house.
So again, we're not going to go anywhere with this because you're going to be so stuck on wanting to prove whatever your stance is as the heel of this show.
All right.
That our listeners agree on, and it's fine. It's fine that you want to do that. At the same point, to be fair, we've only seen him in dailies where it's 5 teams going against him. We haven't seen him in the dailies.
See, this is what you're doing.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you the facts. I'm not. I didn't even get to say one way or the other. I'm just saying we've only seen him where he had to go up against 4 other teams tonight and 5 other teams last week, and so we don't know what he's like in the dailies overall. I'll give you, he was good tonight. He was good last week because they did good as a team. Natalie's good at dailies too. You cannot tell me that he is good at eliminations at this point in his challenge career. You have nothing to back that up on.
No, at the beginning of all this, he wasn't. He was failing.
He's still not.
So what? We're just gonna ignore what he's done the past 2 or 3 weeks.
That's not an elimination. That's not what I said. I said you can't say he's good at eliminations at this point.
I don't think we can necessarily really. If we're being honest, unbiased, I don't know that we can say either way.
Then what are you arguing about?
My argument is that this guy's performed. You guys don't want to give him the credit.
You can absolutely say he's not good at eliminations because they lost 3 in a row.
That.
They lost 3 in a row.
Okay, I will say because I don't care either way so much that I'm not listening. I'm looking at Terry Cruz's Twitter account. Pauly, the one elimination that they won, he didn't do anything. It was all Natalie.
Yeah. And the ones that they lost were all to very inferior teams.
Until
that's debatable.
No, he didn't.
Jose, and I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the one and only solo elimination that they have won, it was Natalie. She was the one that had to find the ball with the number and stick it through the hole, survive that awful hamster ball that she was stuck in, get banged up, bleeding like crazy, and he even fell off of the platform that he was supposed to be standing on. He didn't do anything.
Why do you think after after the same elimination, Cara said, "Wasn't me at all. Marie won this challenge."
That's a good teammate.
It was the exact same.
So he's not a good teammate.
That's not what I'm saying. He didn't come out of this and say it was me. I did all the work.
But you are.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that he played a part in that because Kyle got tired out. He worked Natalie over so much that he tired himself out. He didn't play that smart.
But you still that has nothing to do with the point. You're subverting the point that I'm saying is that you can't say at this point he's good at eliminations.
I'm saying what we've seen.
Exactly. You just are rephrasing it.
You can't say that we can't say either way.
He's lost 3 out of 4.
And the one that they won, it was Natalie that did it.
He was. I'll give you a third, and she was 2/3, and that's being generous.
So we're going to say that because Johnny has been terrible at eliminations for the past 2 years, that He's no longer good at eliminations.
How many challenges has he won?
I get that.
He has not been good at eliminations since Rivals 3. Go back and look at his track record. It will shock probably most listeners.
Now, listen.
I will say people are scared of him because of his reputation, but he has not done nothing to prove that he's been good.
The thing is, not trying to talk about Johnny, not trying to pull him up. This is about Paulie.
Yes.
This is the one and only challenge season that he has ever done. Now, if he comes on this next season and he just blows it out of the park,
we'll have to reevaluate this.
We will completely change what we say. If he can go into several eliminations and win those eliminations and stay in the house for an extended period of time in this next season, we can take back what we've said, because there's physical evidence and proof that he can compete in eliminations and succeed. But so far, you can't change history or facts or physical evidence and say that you can't say that he's not good at eliminations, because he lost 3 in a row.
They lost 3 in a row.
Yes, they
did.
Yeah.
They both did. But
So
we were talking about Paulie here.
Exactly, that's what you guys are doing. Is you're singling out Paulie.
Yeah, on
Like
this part,
he's the weak link on this team.
Because you're not wanting to talk about Natalie, you're wanting to talk about Paulie.
Yeah, I thought that was this whole conversation. You wanted to talk about Paulie. We can talk about Natalie too.
No, we're running out of time, so we don't need to talk about any of this anymore.
This isn't over.
It's going to be for this week, because again, like, I get what you're doing and I get what you're pushing. But here's the thing. It's like, I'm not going to get political, but it's when, like, someone says, "Hey, look at this," and you tell me, look at these things, and I'm like, okay, well, what does that have to do with this? And then you're like, but what about Obama did this? And I was like, we weren't talking about that. Like, what are you even bringing that up for?
I'll say this, and then we're done.
Okay.
When this all started with Paulie, all he was a talker.
Yes.
Correct. He backed nothing he said up.
100%.
But what he's done, there is a world in where people can come back from failure. And what I've seen is this guy, along with Natalie, I'll give her credit too, but we've been hating on Paulie so much that's why he's been the topic of conversation. The fact is he's come back from tremendous failure, losing 3 eliminations. And to this point, since he's come back out of that 1 elimination, has taken care of business.
They have been good at dailies. Yes, 2 dailies in a row.
I'll give them that.
They've
done 2 challenges.
Hey, how many dailies have they been on total this season?
And dominated those challenges.
That's fine, but again,
I'm not going to take away those daily challenge wins. I will not take that away from them. They won that fair and square. They have proved that they're good at. So far, they're good at dailies.
You got to admit you can't say that they're good at eliminations.
But I can't say as much as you guys.
Oh no, we can, because they've had more losses than they have wins. So yes, that's math. That is statistical proof.
We're watching 2 different television shows.
Yeah, you're watching Yours in Character to get riled up about it.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I really think you are watching Yours in Character.
Because this all flipped about halfway through the season.
I can't.
I'm
with
just
you guys.
I'm just saying. And we talked about this. We can have a solid debate where we can discuss our opinions, our disagreements. We're throwing the facts out there.
Oh, what am I throwing out there?
We don't know. We don't know what you're throwing out there, Jay.
Right.
But what we are saying is, if they can get more elimination wins, we'll take back what we've said. But so far, there's not any physical evidence of eliminations that they've done.
Dailies ultimately don't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Could it be that I've seen with my eyes what they really are before you guys?
No,
it can't be.
No.
There's no world where it's a possibility that Paulie is actually good at this.
No, because
they haven't done it.
Y'all are proving my point. Y'all have already written the guy off. There's nothing he can do.
No.
We've written you off as a character.
I'm not a character. I'm Jake Engel. That's me.
The heel.
Yeah.
What Zach and I are both saying right now, we are not writing him off. If he does 6 eliminations in the future and wins every one of them, we're going to root for him. We're going to say that's great.
I don't know if I'm going to root for him, but I'll give him his credit.
I'm going to say that's amazing. he had a bad start. He wasn't great when he started out, and he figured it out, and now he's good. Now he knows how this game works. But right now, we can't give him credit for things that he's not done. He
has done it. He's done it. He has.
No.
No.
He hasn't. He's won 2 dailies.
What this is an attack on me. You guys have made it clear.
I'm not attacking you.
Attacking me.
We're trying to show you the truth, the light.
I see the truth.
Way.
I see it. As clear as day.
You're in a cult.
All right.
The veil has covered your eyes. You see fog and murky clouds. It's a blurry vision that you have right now.
Yeah.
And we're trying to help you see more clearly. But what I'm trying to tell you is you have an opinion based on what you want to believe. We have our opinions based on the facts that we've seen so far. But again, this is only his first season. He didn't start out well, but he has all the time in the world in the future to prove us wrong. And there's a part of me that kind of hopes that he can do it for the crap that Zach has given him that he probably has never even heard, doesn't have any clue about. I am so much the Switzerland in this. I am so middle of the road, indifferent. I don't care. But this is the physical evidence of what we have seen thus far. If he does something else, if he proves us wrong in the future, I'm going to stand up. I'll give him a freaking standing ovation if he can outwin the losses that he's had in eliminations.
We're seeing two different things. That's all I know to say.
Yeah,
we're seeing two
you're
different
out of your
things.
mind in character.
It's not a character.
It is.
It's not.
This is absolutely a character.
It's
I
not.
can't.
I'm seeing it. I'm stating what I'm seeing.
You can't see the future.
Okay.
I'm seeing right now the present. It is what it is.
Yeah, he's lost more than he's won.
Yeah.
Which I've said, but he's also come back from those losses. What he's done.
We gotta move on.
Those aren't the facts.
We're already an hour and a half in.
Fake news, you two are.
Yeah,
Fake news.
That's what you're personifying right now.
I will say those two words.
That's what I'm getting.
No,
at.
I'm saying those two words, fake news put together. That's the quickest way to PISS me off. I can't stand those two words.
It's
okay.
Yeah, that
like Jake. I will ask you to leave my house
again. We're not going to get anywhere on it because
I've heard it so much by ignorant
Never by
hillbillies.
We're not going to get anywhere on it. There's nothing. You've said your side. I've said my side. There's nothing else we could say at this point because nothing else has happened. You look at the Twitter poll. That's all I'm going to say. So, who smashed some heads tonight?
Oh, I did forget to write that
I wonder
down.
what yours is going to be.
Paulie. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah. I picked Sylvia and Joss because they took out arguably the strongest team left in the game. And I don't think any of us expected them to be able to do that to that level. I mean, it is what it is. They went into elimination and they won. So, Hannah?
Mine was Johnny to Kaylee.
He smashed. Oh, because the fake.
Because
fake.
at first she didn't want to believe it, and then a few hours later she's like, I don't want to believe it, but it's starting to get to me.
It seemed like the more she sat on it and thought about it, it got into her head.
Yeah.
So
it kind of I think it hurt her a lot.
That's fine. Who got their head smashed?
Kaylee.
Nelson.
I put Nelson and Shane.
Yeah.
Specifically, I agree with Nelson because he really screwed up that purge challenge. And
he was upset about it.
Yeah, he was in his own head about it afterwards.
Well, I say because he couldn't really put much together when he got in the redemption house.
Yeah.
That's true as well.
Okay, yeah. What I had written for that is, seriously believe Johnny made everything up, all caps, but Nelson isn't denying anything, ... questions.
I wrote Shane and Nelson because they survived their whole power move as an alliance. They didn't have to go in.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that.
That made the most sense rivalry wise. But then the next challenge, like Shane didn't even really get to compete. Nelson fell halfway through. Shane had just come through this whole like, hey, I'm on the edge of a breakdown. Then they get sent into redemption with two teams that they don't like at all. I don't know how they feel on Cam and Kaylee. I'm not sure on that.
Nelson and Kaylee are
I know, but
like...
but they're going into a place now where that's hostile now. And, I mean...
maybe.
Yeah, again, Nelson thinks that he's going into a good situation with her. And so, worst case, two teams in the Redemption House are against him. Best case, two teams are against them. Worst case is all three teams are against them.
Yeah.
So the good thing is for them is they'll get to at least compete next week in whatever the final elimination Redemption House challenge is. So we'll see. Did you give yours? You said Kaylee. Yeah, Kaylee. I couldn't remember.
Because it really started getting to her.
Yeah, and I thought it wasn't going to, and the more she said on it, the worse it got. So
high school album of the week.
You can go.
Avril Lavigne's "Let Go" album. It's got Skater Boy and Complicated on there.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I really thought it was appropriate. Complicated. Why'd you have to go and make things so complicated?
Oh, I know the song.
And everybody's relationship with everybody was complicated in this episode.
Yeah,
Kyle and Cara still kind of, because that was brought up. Almost said Brad. Johnny and Natalie, Nelson and Kaylee, everything.
That's fine.
Nelson and Natalie.
That's fine. I think it's funny now looking at what Avril Lavigne's putting out now, and if you would have told her that back then, she probably would have wanted to punch you in the face. Have you watched that new song? The Underwater song?
I think what's funny is, have you looked at her Instagram?
Why are you winking at me again?
I'm not trying to wink at you.
You are, though.
Her Instagram, when she was making posts before the song was out.
To be fair, she married the lead singer of Sum 41, then they got divorced. Then she married the lead singer of Nickelback.
Didn't she break up with Chad?
They got a divorce, yeah.
Yeah, but they're still like really close, and he like helped her like direct and make the music video for this song and write the lyrics.
She has lupus now, and then she did that weird Hello Kitty song.
I didn't think it was lupus. I thought she had
Lyme disease.
Maybe that's what it is.
Okay, I don't know where I got lupus from.
Selena Gomez has lupus.
I don't know. You got yours?
I do. Alexis on Fire.
That was my pick, and I changed it.
Accidents.
That's literally. I listened to that album all day at work today, and I that was my pick for tonight, and I changed it at the last second.
Great album.
That's why I asked you. I was like, "Are we gonna have the same thing?"
Great album.
It's top to bottom still really good.
Yeah, I think the first song you introduced me to by then was that Sidewalk When She Walks, which.
Because I bought their first CD first with like 44 caliber love letters straight from my heart. And all that stuff.
you definitely introduced me to this album first.
Maybe it's Rodney. Me and him had that one.
I remember thinking like we were riding around in your Mustang.
That was back in the day.
Yeah, your silver one.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's a cool song.
Yeah, that CD, like I legitimately listened to that about 1.5 times through today at work, and that's weird because we haven't talked about that or that band in a while. I went with a different because I've gotten kind of heavier like the last couple weeks as far as like the bands I'm listening to and I'm suggesting, so that's why I went away from them and I picked May the Everglow.
That was on my list of potential. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's really good, like really piano-y.
Yeah,
similar to the Copeland one. You a little, but
like, not as sleepy.
No, not as sleepy. A little bit more rocky, I guess.
Yeah. You don't like that word.
Rocky.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that's more than one word.
It's really good album. Like top to bottom, it is really good. And so that's my pick. We need to do the movies real quick. Go for it. Pick your movie.
Pick my movie?
Yeah.
My movie, I told you guys, tell you every week, I'm going down my list from 1 to all of them.
32.
This week, we've gotten to, I don't know what number it is, but I'm going in order. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I love that movie.
A little surprised by that.
Oh, they time travel.
You know they're making another one right now.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Did you know that?
She wants to go see that and Kings of Leon all in the same night.
I wouldn't want to do both of those in one night.
No, I would want to do Kings of Leon.
That's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
Why
did you make that weird face? I freaking love them.
That's not why. What's yours? We got to wrap up.
We watch a lot of superhero movies. I do at least. You guys are way behind.
Is yours The
compared to me.
Incredibles?
It is not.
Is yours Catwoman?
It is not. Mine is what I think is
Dark Knight Rises.
the person who has best represented their character out of any of the superheroes or villains.
I know where you're going.
Logan. It's not even close in my opinion.
It's a really good movie.
The way Hugh Jackman has represented Wolverine is
over the years.
Yeah, hands. There's a reason he's the longest tenured.
Other than the movie, The Wolverine, or the Wolverine Origins,
which he was still the best part of that movie.
Yeah, but that movie was
without a doubt.
awful.
It was weird.
The 2004 one,
right behind Ray Donovan. Is that the name of that show?
Ray Donovan is Liev Schreiber.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to be like his brother.
Yeah.
He was Sabretooth.
Easily the best Marvel movie in my opinion, and you throw in DC in there.
Yeah,
too,
that technically falls under like the Marvel Sony movies, not the Marvel universe.
Comics universe, MCU.
I don't think Logan was a Sony movie, was
No,
it?
not Marvel Comics. Marvel Cinematic
It's
universe.
not part of the MCU because all the X-Men.
No.
Because Sony.
That's Fox.
Fox owns all the X-Men stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And Sony owns Spider-Man and all that, and Fantastic Four, I think.
When he hulked up that last time, injected himself.
Oh, I know.
Boy.
It's a great movie.
The weirdest part was Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
That's in the he's talking about Logan.
Oh, I thought we were still talking about the really bad Wolverine movie.
No, that movie sucks.
Where
and I
like
don't want
he
to talk
didn't
about
have
it.
his mask on or something, and
He didn't have a mouth.
They sewed his mouth shut, and
Yeah,
that's what he's
they
known
sewed
for.
his mouth shut.
And he had like Cyclops' vision, and he could teleport, and none of that stuff. Anyway,
it was so bad.
not even close to like what you suggested, which I'm fine with. But I think you do like this movie, Rocket Science.
That's been on my
Yeah.
I've got to watch
that's
that.
Anna Kendrick before Pitch Perfect.
Anna Kendrick
Yeah.
in like 2006.
Yep.
She's a little chubbier at the time.
Hey, that's
Be
not nice
careful
to
now.
say.
She was compared to now. It was an indie movie. It was way before anyone knew who she was. It's a very strange, quirky movie about a guy that is recruited to do speeches for a debate club, and he stammers and stutters all the time, and he can't do it. It's a really good movie. It has a soundtrack by mostly the Violent Femmes, which is really good, and it's just a great movie overall.
We need to watch that movie soon.
If you're going to watch any of the 3 movies that we suggested this week, watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's such an easy watch.
Or Rocket Science, or Logan. They're all
Bill
good
and Ted's
picks.
Excellent Adventure. It's easy. It's lighthearted. It's a little bit funny and a little bit weird.
You want to do the plugs?
I feel like after that whole
You can
thing,
follow
we need
us
to-
on Twitter at Smashing Heads Pod.
Nope.
At Smashing Heads.
She doesn't know
You
anything.
can email us at Smashing Heads.
No, not.
Good Lord.
What?
Okay. Facebook. At
You can't even get it
Smashing Heads
right.
Podcast. Instagram at Smashing Heads Podcast. Twitter at Smashing Heads. Email us, smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com.
I was trying to say that and you said no.
You just said at the beginning, so it sounded like another.
No, I said email us at
exactly.
smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com.
And
But you cut me off.
we're on iTunes and Podbean. So
If you like pods and beans, then go to Podbean.
we went long tonight, but we hope you stayed with us, and we will see you next week.
We're going to go all kiss and make up now. I feel like we've got to do something.
I'm not involved.
I just ended the show. Can you guys say bye, please?
Yeah. I hope we have a good night. Have
I
a good
need
night,
food.
everyone. Have a good night, everyone.
I want some cereal.